Hey, yo, everyone, Andrew here, bringing you another video. And today we're going to do my comic load for the week, but I just want to get an announcement out to you guys first. This video is going to be relatively short. The reason being is the last 2 weeks, roughly, have been kind of strenuous weeks. Not only has it been busy at work, but I have been sick at one point. My wife went into the emergency room, but she's okay, so don't worry. But she's getting back from that, and she's getting better. And in addition to that, I've have some stuff going on with my foot. I don't want to gross you guys out, but I have a foot injury that I have to deal with, and then got with all this going on, I have to deal with going shopping today because we're out of food. But just been kind of a crazy week with a lot of medical stuff, but also a lot of work and a lot of other things going on that I won't be able to do a full video today. I apologize in advance the fact that I kind of been slacking on getting my videos out on time, making sure that they're up to par with what I usually do. It's been tremendously crazy past 2 weeks. So I'm going to do a quick video now, just go over the comics for this week, give them quick ratings, and then from there we will go from there. Ask your questions. I'm going to save out the questions for this video and next video, and we're going to post it on for the next video. This video and the previous video for the next video. So again, I apologize in advance just between me being sick and her going to the emergency room and various different stuff we didn't get to do during the past week. We have to do on the weekend, and that's why I won't be able to do a full video. So let's move on and let's just get into the reviews real quickly. And I'm going to go super quick. Batman issue 28. This is a jump forward. Scott Snyder kind of gives us a peek on what's happening with Batman Eternal. We get to see the identity that Harper Row is going to take up, which is kind of a cool identity, and I'm all for. And in addition to that, we get a return of a character, but I don't want to spoil anything for you. That's a hint. This is 5 out of 5. Fun comic, and it looks like Catwoman's finally going to get some pizzazz. Although I did read in an interview that Scott Snyder said that he's trying not to change Catwoman too much because he's been liking what he's been doing in Ann Nocenti's run. Scott, let's not lie here, okay? No one likes what Ann Nocenti's doing in her run. Moving on, Nightwing issue 28. This was also a fun issue. This gets a 4 out of 5. Kind of a near and dear issue with Nightwing dealing with one of the kids that he watches, their parents dying, so on and so forth. Fine dialogue and good overall presentation. Batgirl issue number 28 will also get a 4 out of 5. Although I don't care too much about the journal story, Gail Simone's writing just captures me. For example, this dude right here, Silver, thinks that the Batman family are vampires and he's out to kill him. I don't know, not that great of a story, but the internal dialogue that Barbara Gordon has, and the fact that she teams up with Strikes in this is just great. And let me just mention, Strikes is quickly becoming more and more of a fan favorite for me. I'm really liking her a lot. Batman and Little Gotham, issue number 11. I believe this is the second last issue. This is basically co-parenting. In addition to that, Clock King, it's Batman Little Gotham. If you want a good relaxing chuckle, pick it up and read it. She-Hulk issue number 1. Yes, I do love She-Hulk a lot. I think I like her more than Hulk because she's not me smash. She actually has personality. And I did read a previous run on She-Hulk done by Dan Slott, I believe, which was actually pretty darn fun. This is pretty much the same kind of tune. She's a lawyer. She's going around doing lawyerish stuff, and at the same time smashing. Not very much a superhero comic, but still, if you're a fan of the character and of Woody writing, it's something to pick up. So I will give this a 4 out of 5. Constantine, issue number 4, continuing Forever Evil Blight. Constantine finds the Justice League dark and he pulls a lot of strings to do so. Will he be able to come out on top? I don't know. 5 out of 5 is just Justice League. Forever Evil Blight has been a tremendously good comic. Suicide Squad, issue number 28. To be honest, this issue was fun and good. I enjoyed the fight with OMAC, and it was very raw in its nature. It's a shame that this comic is getting canceled. The only thing I could really say that I didn't care about this is, I don't know, the dialogue wasn't too impressive. I mean, again, it's a fun. The fight scenes were really fun, but the dialogue wasn't really too impressive. 3.5 out of 5. Moving on. For our review of Rogues Rebellion issue number 5, continuing the fun run that we've been having with Rogues Rebellion, I really do think that they should make a comic with the Rogues just going around being kind of anti-hero-ish or just kind of doing their own thing. And this issue was particularly fun because not only do they fight and defeat, spoiler, defeat the Royal Flush Gang, or this version of the Royal Flush Gang. There's going to be like a million that don't get attached to them. They also take on Johnny Quick and Atomka. So how that fight pans out, you're just going to have to wait. On a whole, it is a 4.5 out of 5. Just shy of greatness. Thor issue number 19, Jump on Point. So basically, Thor is working with the Shield agent, which really I should know her name because I'm sure she's been in the Marvel Universe a tons. But at the same time, I really don't give two lickings. Good dialogue in this. However, it wasn't as fast paced as Thor should be. There's some action scenes, but nothing really too big. And I don't really feel as though Shield needs to be in the Thor comic. Maybe they're trying to continue to tie Thor as much to mythology, to man's world, or Midgard, but I just don't feel as though Shield should be thrown in there. Shield is good when they're dealing with Captain America. That's cool. But with Shield and Wolverine and in Thor, I'm just not feeling it. 3 out of 5. Green Lantern Corps issue number 28. This comic has been absolute fun, and what I really do like is the fact that Green Lantern Corps and Green Lantern all tie into each other very well. It's almost like a secondary Green Lantern title each month, and it's a good thing that DC didn't kill off John Stewart, because if they did, they would have made a humongous mistake because John Stewart is just badass. Basically, they're going after a Green Lantern, which was one of those shifter people, and just basically pulling out all the stuff to get him. And in addition to that, we get to see the return of some interesting characters. Let's just say will scare you. 5 out of 5. Injustice Gods Among Us. To be honest, I actually had to look through this because I didn't quite remember what the story was. I think it's basically a Green Lantern focused story. Yeah, it's Green Lantern focused. Um, yeah, nothing too much happened in this issue. Now I'm starting to remember. It's just mostly Hal being Hal, working for Superman, and then Sinestro shows up and makes a deal with Superman and all that fun kind of stuff. Uh, 3 out of 5. Not the best that this has done, but still pretty good. Moving on to Legendary, issue number 2. I'm continuing this comic because it's just fun steampunkish action. While I'm not a huge fan of steampunk in general, I do like the fact that they're taking the Dynamite characters and giving them a kind of a fresh take to them. And I'm not saying I hate steampunk, I'm just not a huge fan. But in saying that, it's kind of cool that we're getting this interpretation. And saying that, I said in saying that a little too many times, but moving on. On a whole, this issue was pretty fun. It focused more on Red Sonja's sister and Green Hornet and Kato in a fun chase scene, for lack of a better term. The whole comic's basically a chase scene. This is going to get a 4 out of 5. I would really like to actually see Sonja in this, and it would have been nice to see a little bit more of the other characters. And I'm not really too in love with Vampira, but Vampirella, but Green Hornet makes up for this, and the chase scene was really fun. Pick up Legendary; it's a fun little mini series to get into. Superboy issue number 28. So Superboy is working with this telepathic Milwaukee girl from the future to help her out because she's a test tube baby and there's other test tube babies that need to be saved. This is going to get a prompt 3.5 out of 5. My man Marv Wolfman does what he does best and gives layers to characters. The problem is I don't give a shit about these characters. The backstory for Mohawk telepathic woman was really actually quite good. It had me gripped in and I really started caring about her. The thing is that eventually Superboy, or John, or whoever's going to be Superboy after Marv Wolfman's done, is going to return back to the present and not going to see this character ever again. So a lot of effort was put into a character which I think we'll see relatively little of past this story arc. Putting that aside, it was great writing because it's Marv Wolfman, and although he's still part of the old guard still rocks and rolls. So, 3.5 out of 5. Moving on, Superman, Wonder Woman, issue number 5. Boy, oh boy, is this comic just absolutely amping it up, and it's doing a fantastic job at that. This is going to get a 5 out of 5. The fight between Feor and Zod versus Superman and Wonder Woman is great. The dialogue is spot on this, and Tony Daniels' art is just badass. There's one particular moment that I really like that Superman's fighting Feor and Zod alone, and he's holding his own, but not too much. And Feor is basically saying, what do we have to worry about him? And he says, well, this guy is powerful, but he has no training. Then Wonder Woman shows up, and she's like, bitch, I've had training. Take me on. And she takes him on toe to toe. It was a really good fight. And I really am loving this book. 5 out of 5. Anyone thought this was going to be Twilight romancy? Definitely should be eating their own words, because it's not. It's like the exact opposite. Justice League 3000, issue number 3. This is going to get a 4 out of 5 for the same reason I've been enjoying it for the past 2 issues. Great dialogue and witty banter between the Justice League. I just am loving this as an escapist comic. It's great to see my favorite superheroes kind of be completely different and in a way that doesn't taint their characters. Although we have Keith Giffen saying that this is the Justice League, come on, they're clones, or even so, they're resurrected clones or something like that. They're not the real Justice League, so we get a little bit more leeway with them, and it's far, far in the future that it really doesn't matter to the overall scheme of the comics going on in present day, because it's 1,000 years in the future, so it really doesn't much matter. Like I said, 4 out of 5, enjoying it. And finally, ending it off this week is Justice League of America issue number 12. I did not get this in my pull list for some reason. I'm going to have to talk to my comic guy. It probably was just a mix-up, and I could only find the variant, which was the steampunk variant. A lot of steampunk going on. Even in my D&D campaign, there's a little steampunk going on. Anyways, so again, more Stargirl and Martian Manhunter. And while this comic on a whole has slowed down plot-wise, it has sped up character-wise. We've been getting a lot of development of Stargirl and Martian Manhunter, which really are kind of the stars of this comic. If you look back on when this comic was revealed as a regular Justice League of America with all of its cast, we were really looking towards those two characters as being the most interesting. Yeah, sure, I was pumped Hawkman and Green Arrow and Catwoman and all these other characters were on there, and Simon Baz, but really Stargirl and Martian Manhunter were the ones I were most intrigued of. So it's interesting as this comic comes to close and eventually gets transitioned to Justice League United that we'd be focusing on these characters. The fight scene with the Sparrow was pretty good, and it was even funny because, well, Stargirl makes fun of the Sparrow's name. However, I'm giving this a 4 out of 5 just because, like I said, the story is kind of dragging. We get it. They need to get the Firestorm. They need to save Firestorm because then they can save the Justice League and then they can go whoop the crime syndicate ass, as long as Luthor and Batman doesn't do it before them. But we've been doing that for the past like 3 issues. Let's fucking get this rolling. So that is the comics for this week. Quickly going to pull out the comics that I enjoyed the most as my Andrewcutter picks of the week. Which is kind of tough because this week was pretty darn good. But there were 3 comics that I think particularly stood out to me. So here we go. Batgirl, issue number 28. Like I said, it may have not got the 5 out of 5 ranking, but I'm going to put this as a pick of the week just because Gail Simone's writing is just so darn good. I really do like her inner dialogue for Batgirl, and the relationship between Batgirl and Strikes is just absolutely pretty and beautiful. So definitely a good jump on point for Batgirl 2 if you have not jumped onto her at all. Moving on would be Batman issue number 28. How can I lie? It's great to get a little peek into the future and see exactly what's going to be happening in the Batman internal storyline. Sure, there's vague references here and there, and we don't get the full story, but we get enough of a taste. It's like going to Buffalo Wild Wings and sampling every single flavor, but we don't really know every single flavor is going to be. That was a horrible reference, but hey, still, that was fun. Let's get back to Zero Year, though. I want to see what happens to Zero Year. But lastly, and my favorite comic this week still goes to Superman and Batwoman, Superman and Wonder Woman. This comic has launched up as one of my favorite team-up comics. I actually like it more than Batman and Superman right now. It has a solid story going on and solid characters, and might I add, fantastic art. Tony Daniels is up there as one of my favorite artists, so it's definitely a comic that you should pick up. And that's my picks of the week. Like I said, I'm gonna have to cut this video short, so I apologize. I will make up for it in the next video. I'm gonna try to do Saturday. Let's see. Anyways, with that said, I'm gonna end this review here. This is Andrew saying peace out for now.